everybody, this is Mitz Trades with the Eldorado Trade Group, and this is the 11th class in our series, Everything You Need to Know to Trade Stock Options, where today we are going to go over the complete setup of Thinkorswim from scratch. I'm going to be doing this class candidly and live, so bear with me if I have some mess ups, but basically where we're going to start off is even before you download this application onto your computer, you're going to want to open up a TD Ameritrade Tier 2 cash account. Once you do that, whether you decide to deposit money or not, that's going to be your choice. I'm not sure if there is an account minimum or not. I don't believe that there is anymore. What I am going to recommend to you is to trade with paper money, which is simulated and it's fake money, until you can really grasp the system and your strategy, and until you're ready to take risk, because it is a really, really risky way of trading. And so you should know that before going into it, that you shouldn't mess around. You shouldn't take these trades lightly. They all come with high risk, and so be smart before entering a trade. But I'm going to show you the setup here on paper trading. You may or may not be able to save this and apply this to your regular account, but this is in the paper trading section of Thinkorswim. So once you log into the paper trading section of Thinkorswim, this is what it's going to look like. This is your home screen. This is what's going to pop up. You're never really going to use this screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over here to the left, and I'm just going to delete all these gadgets because I don't want these. I'm going to add 5 watch lists. The first watch list is going to be current account positions, and we're going to link this with yellow 2. The second watch list is going to be custom, and we're going to call this stocks alpha. We're going to make another watch list. This one is going to be called contracts alpha. This first one is going to be linked with red 1, stocks alpha, and the contracts are going to be linked with yellow 2. Fourth watch list. This is going to be called stocks beta. And this is going to be blue 3. And then the last one is going to be called contracts beta. This is going to be linked with green 4. So that's the 5 watch lists that you want to add. Everything that you do and all the trades that you take, they're going to pop up in the monitor tab. So if you needed to close out of something, or if something gets messed up in your charts and you need to access a position that you're in and you're not really sure how to get there, in the monitor tab you will have stuff that will pop up when you're in a position that you can right click to close the trade. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to our trade tab. This is where you're going to select all your contracts. So I'm just going to use SPY as an example. And here's your option chain. So from the option chain, I'm going to open this up. I want to see probably like 80 strikes. I want to see a lot of strikes, just so you can get a really good sense of what's happening for the day or the week with these contracts. The next thing I'm going to change is the setup of these values here. To do that, I'm going to click on the layout right here. and I'm going to customize it. So things that I personally want to see in this area, along with obviously the bid and the ask, is going to be the delta. Some people like to put implied volatility. We can add that too. What else do we have here? Definitely want to see the volume and open interest. And then we're going to hit OK. So from there, you can kind of see what you're going to be looking at every day, where you're going to be selecting contracts. The volume and the open interest are probably the most important part of this section because you want to be trading contracts with high volume and open interest. You want to be looking more so at these, whatever with the high numbers, whatever you can find with the higher numbers is going to work out better for you. It'll make it easier to get in and out of trades. So this is pretty much where I like to have my option chain. And then from here, we're going to click on the charts section. And this is where it starts off. This is what your starting setup will look like. And so we're going to click on this. And I want to click on 8 charts. So I bring these charts up. What I'm going to do to choose what I want in these charts is I'm just going to enter a stock into this bar right here and click enter. This is going to be my chart in this square. This is also going to be a chart in this square. So these are good to go. In this square, I want to have the active trader. So I'm going to deselect the C right here, which is the chart, and I'm going to click on the AT, which is the active trader. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Deselect the chart, select the active trader. In these bottom sections, I want to have my level 2 and time and sales. So I'm going to deselect chart right here, and I'm going to select time and sales. This one also is going to be my time and sales. And then these last two are going to be my level 2. So deselect chart, select level 2, which is L2. Now what you're looking at is the system that you're going to be using to kind of monitor and take all of your trades on a daily basis. This is really 2 setups here. This is a setup and this is a setup. So potentially you could be watching or you could choose to take more than one trade at the same time, which is a little bit more advanced. I would say when you start out, just focus on taking one trade at a time. So you could potentially set up like 4 charts instead of 8, but it's good to get used to this. So this is kind of how the charts are going to look when your trading day starts. Now I'm going to go over how to edit the active trader to my liking. First thing we're going to do in the active trader is we are going to add some buttons. So to do that, you're going to click on this little wheel. And let's see what we got. I want to have buy market, sell market, cancel. Let's add a cancel all because that's always good to have. Cancel all will cancel everything that you have up for that specific contract. So if you have a stop loss order up or some kind of separate order in place, it'll cancel all those out so that you can choose to either sell it or do whatever you want with it. Cancel all. We're going to get rid of reverse. I don't really ever use that. We're going to get rid of flatten, and we're going to add flatten now, which will sell at market order, whatever amount of contracts you're in on a specific contract. And you could add by the ask, which is similar to a limit order. and sell the bid, which is also similar to a limit order. Now on the second line, we have quantity with buttons, order template selector, auto send, order template editor. That's what you want to see on your second line there. I don't believe we're going to be... You can add a position indicator if you want. That'll kind of just show you how many contracts you're in. So from here, this is what you should see. Buy market, sell market, cancel. You can even get rid of cancel. So buy market, sell market, cancel all, flatten now, buy, ask, sell, bid. Second line, quantity with buttons, order template selector, auto send on off, position indicator, order template editor. Hit OK. And then what you're going to want to do is click this little arrow to drop down the bottom part of your buttons. This is where you're going to select how many contracts you want to buy. If you want to buy 3, if you want to buy 10. You can edit the amount of contracts in these buttons by going to your setup. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm just kind of showing you how my stuff is set up, because you may see different numbers here that can be changed. So this is your active trader. This is where you're going to buy, sell, and also set up your stop losses. So when you see, another good thing to have always clicked is your auto send. That can also be a dangerous thing. So get used to trading before you click the auto send button, because basically once you do that, anytime you hit buy or sell, it's going to fill you on an order whether you like it or not. So just be careful when you have auto send click, know what you're doing. To add a stop loss, so we're going to go into here and we're going to click on trigger with bracket. So once you click on trigger with bracket, know that whatever quantity you have in this little selector area is going to correspond automatically to what's in here. So you don't really need to worry about changing the quantity down here. All you need to worry about is whatever happens here will correspond. How you want to set up your, let's call it a 10% stop loss, is you want to uncheck this first box. Then I'm going to change this value offset to a percentage. And I'm going to put this to -10. Now remember, this is going to apply for puts or calls, so you don't need to worry about changing like the negative, positive, all that. This is going to be stop. This is going to be good till cancel, GTC. And that is how you set your 10% stop loss. There should be a little option to save it right here. You might have to widen the screen. I'm going to save this as my 10% stop loss. I'm going to hit save. And then from now on, when you open your screen up, it's going to open up with single. All you have to do is click on that, hit 10% stop loss. Whatever you trade in this next trade will correspond to what's in this template. If you place a trade, this is going to reset to single, and you're going to have to redo it. So just keep that in mind. And that's how you set up your stop loss using the active trader. I'm not going to get into trailing stops right now. If you choose to use them, feel free. It's just a matter of changing this stop to trail stop. But we're going to continue on. We're going to go over the time and sales now, which I like to customize a little bit. So we're going to click on this little wheel here. And we are going to add the bid, the ask, and the price. I want the price to be between the bid and the ask. I want the bid to be on top and the ask to be below the price. We're going to hit OK. That way, as people are buying the stock and you see the orders popping up on here, you'll see the price in between the bid and the ask, and you can kind of judge how far things are apart based on that. You're going to need to apply these settings also to the second control panel, let's call it. So whatever you did in here, do the same thing over here, and whatever you did down here, do the same thing over here. Now I'm going to have you color code all of these boxes. So we're going to go through these. So we're going to go over which colors to code these to. Your first chart over here on the left, top left, that's going to be red 1. Your second chart, which is your active trader, is going to be yellow 2. And then the remaining 2 on this side are going to also be red 1. That's going to all correspond with the stock that you're trading. On this side, your top left chart is going to be blue 3, along with the 2 bottom. Blue 3, and your active trader on your top right is going to be green 4. Now this is all going to make sense in a second when I kind of explain the logic behind why I set this up the way that I do. So as I come in here in the morning and I start looking at my option chain and I see what contracts that I want to trade for the day, let's say I want to trade SPY 407 calls, but I'm also wanting to have some other choices available. I'll right click this contract on the ask where I would click to buy it. I would right click it, and then I'm going to go to add this contract to watch list. Let's go contracts alpha because it's a contract. So we're going to put that in our contracts watch list. I'm also going to add the next, let's say 2 down, so that I don't necessarily need to play the 407s. If there's a big move and I want to have other choices available, I'm going to have other choices here. Let's say I also want to play some puts, or I want to play a completely different stock. Let's try Tesla. And I open my option chain, and I'm going to be looking at Tesla puts along with my SPY calls. So I'm going to go over to the ask on the put side, and I want the 182.5s, the 180s, and the 177.5s. I'm going to right click on the ask, and I'm going to add these contracts to my contracts beta. And you're going to see these kind of appear on the left side here. Contracts beta, right click, contracts beta. If this ever happens, you can just delete, close that out. Now I'm going to add some stocks to my actual watch list. Because my contracts for SPY are on the alpha side, I'm going to put obviously SPY on the alpha side. I also want to have some different stocks here in case I decide I want to trade something else and I want to be able to switch over quickly to a different stock. Same thing over here. I'm going to be trading Tesla in my second chart setup, which is going to be connected to these two. Stocks beta, contracts beta, stocks alpha, contracts alpha. You get the point. So Tesla is going to go down here. We're also going to put Netflix. We're also going to put SPY. It doesn't really matter what else you put. You could have whatever stocks you want in these categories here on the left. So when you go back to your charts and you want to place a trade, or you're in the middle of a trade, this makes your life a lot easier between switching between stocks and also switching between contracts. Another thing I might add is obviously you're going to have to change also the values in your chart itself. You can do that by going into style, time frame setup. We're going to have the 1 day, 1 minute chart up. So let's say I want to take a trade on SPY and I want SPY to be on my chart up here. I'm going to click on the, let's say the last. If you click on the bid or the ask here, you will have something that pops up. So just to avoid that, we're going to always click on the last on this watch list panel over here. So I want to have SPY up here. I want to have Tesla on this side. Let's make this a 1 minute. And you'll notice that once I clicked SPY, it automatically, right here, once I click SPY, because this is linked to red 1, it's now appearing here in your charts, here in your time and sales, and here in your level 2. Same thing on the bottom. because this is linked to blue 3, when I click Tesla, Tesla will appear here, Tesla will appear here, and it's also going to appear here. Now, this is the stock, so you're watching the stock of the chart of the stock, the time and sales of the stock, and the level 2 of the stock. That applies for both of these sections. Let's say I click Netflix, this is all going to change to Netflix. If I click SPY, this will change to SPY. So that's the benefit of having these on the left side here and also linked to a specific color so that you can easily send them over to your chart. Same thing applies with the contracts. Let's say I want to put this contract over here. Let's see what this is. The 407s. Let's say I don't want to use the 407s anymore, and I want to play the 409s. Obviously, it doesn't look like I would do that, judging by these numbers, but let's just say, as an example, I want to switch to the 409s. All I'm going to do is click on the 409 last, and bam, it pops up right here because this is linked to your yellow 2. So once again, the red 1 is linked to here, here, here. Your yellow 2 is linked to your active trader where your contracts will go. Your blue 3 is linked to here, here, here. And your green 4 is linked to your active trader where your other set of contracts will go. This is the entire setup for your charts, and you should be able to navigate your morning with this setup. Now, there's many different things in TOS that you can mess with. You can go into analyze. There's a lot of stuff you can look at. It has a scanner. It has a market watch with a heat map that you can view. You're only really going to use, in my opinion, your charts, your trade, and your monitor tab. Sometimes you'll get messed up and you'll see this. If that happens to you and you're in your charts tab, just keep in mind you have to stay on this little piece right here, which is charts. The education section is also awesome. You can find a lot of information on here. Basically on anything that you are wondering about options can be found on here. So you can mess around with that. But that's really the overview of thinkorswim and how I personally set mine up, how I use it in a nutshell. Obviously, there's more nuances to it, and yours is going to look different than mine only because I changed the setup and color scheme and the way that I wanted to see certain things. You also have the ability to do that in your setup section. When you go in here, you can go to application settings and make it visually sound for yourself. One other cool thing is when you do buy a contract and you get into an option contract, you can't really see it too well right here, but the first watch list that we made, that was your current account positions. When you enter a contract, it will automatically pop up right here. So if you're in a contract, you will see it here. And it says current account positions. That doesn't matter if you're trading contracts here or here. Everything will go to this little section right here. So if you're unsure if you're in something or not and you see a contract here, you probably are. So that's the gist of thinkorswim. I tried to do this live to give you a really good idea of how to set all this up. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Once again, this is Mitz Trades with the Eldorado Trade Group. Thanks for watching the 11th class in our series, Everything You Need to Know to Trade Stock Options, where tonight we went over the complete setup of thinkorswim and how I personally use it, how I would recommend you use it if you trade options. If you learned anything, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. I hope you have a great rest of your evening.